So, good afternoon again. We are meeting here to discuss this implementation of optimal receiver for AWGN channel. Here in the earlier case, we discussed this implementation with the N correlators or M correlators. Now, there is an alternative method which is known as match filter. Now, in that case, we will be implementing the optimal receiver with the match filter. In the earlier correlators also, we have noted that Rx is given by RT, which is the received signal. While we are calculating the received vector R, this is with the help of the received signal RT and its projection signals, projection vectors, say xt. In this case, we can say xt. If we consider the earlier case with N correlators, we will say this was related to phi jt, and if we will say this is related to the second case, it is SMT. Now, in both the cases of earlier correlation method implementation, we had with N number of correlators or with M number of correlators. So, we are having received signal RT, and then we are going to find out this vector R and multiply this with SM. So, in doing so, what we are doing is we are using this equation. If you are using it directly, then this xt will become SMT, and if you are using with the help of projection vectors, then first we will be multiplying this with the xt will be phi jt. Now, they are projection vectors. Then we will be correlating it again with the message signals S1 and S2, or say SMT. Now, it's if we'll change it little bit, and we'll say we define HT. There is another which is this HT is the transform response of a filter, and this T is an arbitrary value. Now, you see, if you look into comparing with xt, is transfer function, this you will find out it to be time reversed or time delayed function of itself. So, in this case, the complexity is less as the case of earlier. Then we are not going to find out our projection vectors, rather we are going to find out what is the this transfer function or the impulse response. We will say this is the impulse response of the time delayed signal itself. Now, in this case, this filter is known as match filter, and we will see its implementation in terms of the structure now. So, we are having received signal RT, now we will see, while we are receiving the signal RT, we are using match filter. Now, here instead of using that the vector projection vector, now we are using match filter. Now, this is for phi 1, the phi 2 and up till phi n, and then we will be taking a decision at t is equals to capital T. This capital T is going to be an arbitrary value. Now, in this case, we'll say what will be our yt is basically convolution of rt and st, or you can say now if we are having input RT, then with this function if you are applying this RT, then it will give us the output, and the output will be the convolution of RT and ST. Now in this case we will call back the value of this or the convolution property, then we will find R tau into ST minus tau into d tau. Now in this case we are taking up this t to be t minus capital T minus t, then it will become capital T minus t plus tau and d tau. Now in this, if you find out what is the value at exact when t is equals to capital T, now put in the value where t equals to capital T. Once we will put in here as t equals to capital T, what will have? Yeah, this will be x tau. So you will have this to be, or what we'll call it, Rx equals to yt right. So which is again in the form of x tau and r tau, this is our vector. So now while deciding the value of t, this is going to be arbitrary, will be keeping one thing in mind, that this st must remain a non-causal function. That is, for all the values of st, while t is less than 0, it should be 0. So we can say for right. I think this is what we call as the causal function. Now this filter must be causal, and the condition is that while we are talking about the time before 0, its value must be 0. Now in this case the impulse response is 0. Now how to calculate this value, number 1, which is yt. If you look closely, this value which are receiving and multiplying this, and we are taking the exact is say sampling at t equals to capital T, what will be our output? Will that output match our yt or not? Will that be Rx? So this is one thing. If we will implement this thing in this form, it will give us the value of Rx, and then we can have what's the rest of the structure as by calculating R1 here. This is phi 1, we will say this is R1, this is R2, and this is capital R1. So here basic objective was to calculate this R vector, which will be calculating all the components of that vector in the form of R1, R2 and Rn, and this is basically to show how we are going to have this mathematically, and how we are going to implement it on the basis of the structure that we are having there. Now what will happen next? Similar to the previous case of the correlators, we will be having this vector R, and then again we can use S1, S2, correlator, right, S1, S2, Sm correlator, and these correlator on the value of R. Now if you are going to multiply R, or you are going to correlate R with S1, so when you will have the maximum value, as we discussed earlier also, that our maximum value will be when this R is going to have its in the autocorrelation mode, means it is having the maximum value when it is having the property related to S1, or it is a signal similar to S1. And for the signal which is, say, if you are receiving a signal which is similar to S1, now if you are correlating with the S1, it will give us the maximum value. For all other, it will give the least value. So this is one thing. So we'll again explore the same property, and we can write that it will be R dot S1. Here you can say R dot S2, and so as we'll be having R dot Sm. Thereafter, this dilation vector, which is similar to the earlier case, eta m. This value of dilation that we wrote earlier was n naught by 2 log natural Pm minus half of its norm. So this dilation factor is same. After adding this one to the received signals, you can find out the maximum value. Select the largest and then the, you can say, output decision. This is the output decision. Now in this case, you will say this is a case similar to our correlator method with n number of correlators. Again, we will have n number of correlators, but those vectors are replaced by the mass filter. Now what will be the advantage? In order to find out their orthonormal vectors, we need to follow that Gram-Schmidt procedure, and you can say that may be a complex one in order to find out all those possible orthonormal vectors. And now that situation is simplified with the introduction of these mass filters. We will be implementing mass filters in the beginning, and then rest of is based on the same principle, that you are going to have this vector R, and with Sm, R dot Sm, then finally you are going to take a decision after adding the dilation factor. Now in this case, if you implement its say its frequency domain interpretation, and earlier was the point we already discussed, that this T equals to capital T, and this capital T may be any arbitrary value by keeping this impulse response to be causal. And we can call this structure as, name of the structure as the structure of a mass filter receiver with n correlators. Why n in this case? Why not m? Again, the same form can be modified with m number of correlators. So where we want to use more number of correlators or less number of correlators, again if you see number of n is less than m, then we will prefer that we use this n correlation method, and if n is greater than m, then we will prefer m correlator method. So in m correlator method, what we will do, again we replace this one, and we will find out the mass filter analogous to S1, analogous to S2, and then we are going to multiply directly and using the correlation there, and then this switch, or you can say where we are going to take a decision of the value where T equals to capital T. So this is your structure for a mass filter receiver with n correlators. So any doubt till now? So we will take up the next one, which is frequency, you can say domain interpretation of this mass filter, and we will discuss two properties there. Frequency domain interpretation of the mass filter. Should we proceed? right?
What is the advantage of the structure correlator or the n correlator and the match filter?
N correlator and the match filter N correlator. You say in the beginning we are using in the N correlator method, we are using the projection vectors phi 1, phi 2, phi 3, like what are these? These are orthonormal basis functions. If you are having a set of two orthonormal basis function, again there is a complex procedure to find out another orthogonal vector. Why? Because first you will find out a vector phi 3 which is orthogonal to this, orthogonal to this previously, and then you will find the norms to be unity. Then you will find out its projection on phi 1, its projection on phi 2, right? If we have mass filter which is thus the time delayed function of itself, then it is easy to implement, easy to find out, but it's complex. Otherwise, if you talk about the end result will be the same. Both will give you the optimum results. If we talk about what will be the end result, if we implement with the help of match filter, then and if we implement these orthonormal basis functions, then in both the cases we will have the same result. There will be no effect on the performance.
It reduces only circuit complexity.
Circuit complexity and yes. Well, one thing is there that if it is going to reduce some complexity, it is always better, right? Anyways, you know, so
Sense of performance?
performance is equal, right? If the performance is equal and it is giving advantage on one parameter, I think it is better to use that. If the performance is not, you know, equal, then we may have a trade-off that we want a better performance and then we are going to implement this. But this is not the case. This is an alternate form of implementation, same thing, of optimal receiver for AWGN channels. So performance wise there is no difference.
But sir, complexity, in the case of the match filter, that delays circuit is also provided.
Delay circuit is also
Provided in the match filter.
right.
Because we want delay phi t minus t minus t.
Yeah.
And in this circuit the delay provide, and before that is the provide the orthogonality. So one extra circuit is provided in this case in the match filter.
Okay, you mean to say that in earlier case we are using phi 1, phi 2, but here instead of using that we are using
the delay circuit.
t minus t. Okay, this is also a good observation that we will be using the same thing. But while we are going to design this and we will look into the properties which we will discuss next, maybe in that point of view you can understand that this method is going to be better than the earlier case. But in earlier case, if you will go for the implementation of say frequency domain interpretation, so this we are talking about in the time domain. What will happen if we will go into the frequency domain? Will our information will be lost, or will be having our information as intact, and they are going to take they are going to help us in taking a decision? Or while designing it, what kind of advantages we can have? For example, if we will go through the first say property of this, or you can say frequency domain interpretation, you will say, if I say ST is going to be S, this is one thing. Now in this case you will see this is the second or the modified form of the match filter. Now if you say that you are going to use this one, now I say you replace this by this one. Once you are going to replace this by this one, again there is no need of this procedure, and number of correlators will also reduce if m is less. So it will become better. But again, if you say if you are going to reduce in this case, then we can reduce in the previous case also that I am going to have S dot m directly, right? What is point? Say the point is that if you say that we are going to replace phi 1 to this one, right? But in earlier case we are going to say have replace this one and this one, and I say you replace this match filter as capital T minus T, which again will become a mass filter. And in this case, the procedure to find out this one is also gone away. But at the same time, we can have an argument that if we implement it directly, then we can have this RT into SMT. This is also possible. But the properties, if you inspect their properties, then you will find that what are the advantages. If we take the say this will take up while discussing this. Take the Fourier transform on the both sides. What will have? HF now. What is the frequency response of HF? If you find out the frequency response of HF, this is a mass filter, you will see it is nothing but the complex conjugate of the signal phase shifted by minus j 2 pi ft. So now if you go into the frequency domain, again it's easy to find out, easy to have, or this or you can say with phase factor, you can say e raised to power minus j 2 pi ft. If you know the signal, the signal which you are going to transmit, if you know that signal, you can easily find out its mass filter. And if you look into the frequency domain, you do not require any extra band for that. Again, you can use that in the same band, only phase difference is there. So if you say the value at particular frequency of amplitude is same in this case also. So probably this is the one point. And if we go through the next point, that is assume, and this is the more appropriate point, if we assume that RT is going to be ST plus NT, right? This is a signal with the transmitted signal we are receiving, and this is corrupted by additive white Gaussian noise, right? Now in this case, if you pass through this impulse response ST, then say we'll be having right. So again this say if you pass it through the impulse response, we are having this impulse response is ST, then the output will be YT, on this side YST plus VT, analogous form you can say, right? YT we are saying while you are passing RT, and YST we are saying while you are passing with the ST, and this is for the while you are passing through noise VT. Now in this case, if you will take Fourier transform, now this is the Fourier transform of whose? This is the Fourier transform of which one? YS. This is the Fourier transform of YST, and this is you can say Fourier transform VT is for the noise NT. So in this case, the power spectral density is given by for the noise HF square. The power spectral density of noise will be N0 by 2 HF and its square. Now if you sample all these components and see the value at T, then what will have? That we are going to have YST from this one, and all capital T, then what we will have? If we will say this is the Fourier transform of YST, then if we will take this value in the time domain, what we will have? Again we will implement this Fourier transform inverse, and you will have, if I write it to be Ys capital T to pi ft into dt. Will it be right? Because this is the Fourier transform of YST, HF and SF, and this you are going to have a multiplier factor in order to take its. Now, if this is a 0 for 0 mean noise component, Vt, this is a capital T whose variance is, now the variance is given by variance Vt, and this is its power spectral density and not by 2, and you are going to take this value from there, Hf square into df, and finally we will conclude with this one. So, this EH is your norm of this what you call the impulse response factor H, or you can say energy in ST. You can also call it to be energy in ST. If you define SNR at this point, what will be the signal to noise ratio, and at the output of the filter HF, then what will be the value? So, this thing is clear, like we started assuming, we assume that the RT is signal plus noise, and then we are passing it through ST, and then we are having this signal. Now, the Fourier transform of this is HF SF. So, similarly, we are going to take it back. What will the signal at the T is equals to capital T, while we are going to take a sampling, and then we are going to find out signal to noise ratio at the output. So, we have to this not SNR will say this is signal to noise ratio at the output of that impulse filter, and it will be, one thing is this we can write for the signal Ys, and for noise we can write this is V, right, variance. So, for the signal we have written that, and for the variance we have written that. So, now the variance is in the square, so that is why we have taken the signal in the square, and from Cauchy this is reference, we will have to take it from there. We will find if you split up into 2 points, then it will be HF square df into minus infinity to infinity SF ft square into df, or you can say energy in H and energy in S. So, this is with the inequality theorem, which is related with when we are going to take integration with the multiplier factor from minus infinity to infinity, that if we want to separate them out, how we can write it up. So, in this case this is HF, this one it will always be less than or equal to with these two products, and these two products are equal to EH and ES. Now, ES is energy in the signal and this EH is energy in the what you will say that field ST, the impulse. Now, if this equality will hold if and only if T, this is a complex constant, and will conclude that SNR naught will be EH and naught. Now, in this case, what we have concluded, once we have calculated this, now we will put this value back to this signal to noise ratio in the output. Then we will say, first thing is this equality will hold if you are having this thing in place, and second thing is while you find out this, it will become this one YST, right? This is YST, the value of YST is this one. Here we have to put up this value Y square ST, right? So, this value EH ES we have written there and divide by the value of the variance Vt, and that is calculated earlier and not by 2 EH. Now, this EH will cancels out, 2 will go up, ES by and naught, which shows the filter HF that maximizes. Now, in this case what is happening? Can you, if you compare it in the output, whether it maximizes signal to noise ratio or minimizes signal to noise ratio? What is your comment? It maximizes. So, once it maximizes signal to noise ratio, it means it helps us in making the receiver an optimum. So, we will say this is going to be maximizes signal to noise ratio is out, and it must satisfy and what is this condition? R. Can you recall this condition? Mass filter equation. You will say is in the time domain, you will find this to be the mass filter equation. So, this is the mass filter or the property of the mass filter, which is says that it maximizes the signal to noise ratio in the output of the mass filter. So, once we are having the reduction in the noise or increase in the signal, so it gives a better form there. So, this is the another point of comparison you can say with the earlier one, but in both the cases we cannot say that this one is optimum and earlier case is not optimum. Both will be the optimum receivers, and but their implementations you can say are alternative implementations. You can use earlier one also, you can use this one also. So, it also shows maximum possible signal to noise ratio in the output as this one. So, this is the maximum signal to noise ratio as we are going to maximize this. So, if we look into it, the VISTA implementation of optimal receiver for AWGN channel we discuss here with the help of mass filter and which is having impulse response as T minus T. We started with this concept and then we discussed the structure of implementation of this mass filter. Then we discussed is frequency domain interpretations, and then in between we also took up few points that whether this is better than the earlier N correlator method or M correlator method, correlation method implementation of the optimum receiver. As you see, both are the optimum receivers, and this method is also the optimum receiver. But if you will see the frequency domain interpretations, you will find it is having little edge on the earlier one. that its design will be simpler, and second thing, it gives us the maximum signal to noise ratio at the output of it. So if you have any query, you can take up now. Thank you.